just like them. So much pressure to appear just like them.
Pressure, don't succumb to it.
Just like
Good morning, y'all. Welcome to R&B Talk. I'm Steve Gooseby. We got Rich Sports.
Good morning, Steve. Always a pleasure, man.
We got Rich Sports in the building, and yes, indeed, man. Welcome to another edition of R&B Talk. Today we got Troy Brown coming on. Shortly, we're going to talk to the Black Promoter Collectives and that new edition tour, man. Let me tell you, if you didn't go to the show, you missed one great show, record-breaking, record-setting. So we're going to get into that. We're going to talk Boston Celtics and Sixers. They play tonight. The NFL draft is this week too, right?
That's right. Thursday, man. That's a big day. That's always a big day, man.
Right.
For our New England Patriots to get better, man. And also, we got A.J. Brown possibly coming to town.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to talk about that. A.J. Brown coming to the New England Patriots. And also, rumor has it, Stephon Diggs may be coming back. Yo, that's a lot of wide receivers, man.
Hey, I tell you what, if we can stack the deck, we already made a good signing with Romeo Doubs from the Green Bay Packers,
right?
Who's definitely in one of the better receivers in the league,
right,
for his age. And we got A.J. Brown. Allegedly, we're just waiting till after June 1st when the Philadelphia Eagles will take a lower cap hit.
Right.
And, I mean, listen, we went to the Super Bowl last year, and you got one of the top young quarterbacks in the league, so you got to have him to have weapons.
Right. Nah, so for this upcoming NFL season is looking real good. We're going to talk about all that. I'm going to talk about a little bit of crypto, and Boss Lady won't be here for the stock tips, but we'll get into some of that. But right now, let me introduce to you my guy, Troy Brown from the Black Promoter Collectives. How you doing, my brother? Let's welcome.
What's going on, fam? How are you, man?
Good, man. How you doing?
Trying to keep it all together, man. Trying to manage the chaos.
Yeah, well, I think you're doing good. It looks like you're doing very well, man. Before we get into New Edition and all of that, man, for the folks who missed us the first round, I think back in December we was talking. Tell them about give them a recap of the Black Promoter Collective, what it's all about, how you guys got started and all that.
Yeah, the BPC is really about several independent entities coming together to create scale and to honestly take our culture back, right? There's a lot of folks that are representing our talent and our IP that don't look like us, that don't think like us, that don't act like us, that don't live like us, and don't have the same values. So our goal was to build an organization at scale and to drive impact, more than through tickets, but in the way that we affect our communities as well, the way that we give back to our communities as we're traveling around the country, the way that we're reaching and teaching and bringing in kids from, the boys clubs, other entities, and pouring into them to let them know, while looking at the stage is great and what you see on the stage is great, but there are a myriad of other ways to impact the culture and be a part of, tours, shows, festivals, the media and entertainment industry.
Right. So you guys were founded back in 2019. Now, how did you guys actually come together, man? Because looking at the list of guys that's part of the Black Promoter, I noticed one other name, Walt Reeder.
Yeah.
Who a lot of promoters have been popular with over the years. So
Walt Reeder Jr., just to be clear, he's not his father.
Okay, he's not his father. All right. Well, he comes from that tree. How did you guys actually come together?
So in terms of when we were established, it was actually 2020. We actually started having just information sessions, calls on Thursday nights that went from an hour to 2 to 4 hours. I started to have a nice glass of red wine during these calls because they were just super long, but really valuable. And it was all about pouring into each other and helping a lot of these independent promoters across the country save their businesses, right? When there were no shows. How do you monetize your audience? How do you monetize your email list, your social media and things like that? So my role in the call was really to help them from a digital perspective, right? That's my background. I come from telecom. I come from Verizon products and services. Yeah. At the same time, as you know, being in the music industry since I was young. So it was really about helping all of them create revenue streams and drive their businesses. So over time, the more we got into it, we're now 6 12, 18 months into it. And now it's like, okay, all this information and all these calls have been great. How do we come together and build something to affect our communities and affect change, and not let the big boxes that we know of continue to do what they do and take advantage of us. So that's ultimately what we did. We capitalized the company with, several millions of dollars. And the call started out with 30, 40 people on it, 30, 40 promoters on it. And, when you say, hey, let's capitalize, and everybody's got to put up a serious chunk of money to go after, these artists and route on a tour, that's when you saw kind of folks scatter. And we ended up with 6 entities. You see 9 people, but it's really 6 entities.
Wow, that's amazing, Troy.
Yeah.
I got a question. Good morning, brother. How you doing today?
Man. I'm well, brother.
Sound like during COVID, you guys had to kind of pivot and reinvent yourself because what was going on with everything shut down during COVID. That's like you guys just had to think outside the box. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I will say this, man. There's a blessing in COVID. There was a significant amount of innovation that came out of COVID, right? If you look at things like the Verses, you look at things like Cassidy's Pass the Mic, you look at Derek's Club Quarantine. I would say the BPC was one of those things as well. It just gave us time to sit, to think, to ideate, to look at what the path forward was going to be, and then figure out where do we fit in, or where can we create something that will change the trajectory of what's going on with our culture moving forward.
Wow, nice. Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, I mean, it's a smart thing to do. We need to come together on a lot of different things. I think that whole thing is great with the Black Promoter Collective. There is a small group here that's together, that's doing a lot of things, which is brought a lot of action in terms of entertainment in Boston. So shout out to everybody that's together, trying to do it together, with where things are going today anyways. A lot more of that's going to be needed. Let's talk about New Edition. You guys just came off the first leg of the New Edition tour, which a fabulous tour, sold out here in Boston.
Thank you. Yeah.
Great show. I wanted you to come back on because after this first leg, man, just realizing some of the accomplishments from that tour. Talk to me about some of the great things that came out of that. Not just for you guys, but also New Edition.
Yeah, man. So, being from Boston, being from home, growing up in the, just there, 02, they're 02119, I'm 02118 in the South End, right?
Yeah.
Mike was my point guard, my AAU point guard. So, I mean, we've grown up together since we were 8, 10 years old. So there's a connection there that, that made them come with the BPC versus some of the other big boxes that you've heard of. The other thing is, I think that I know we have the ability to market to the consumer segment in ways that the others just simply can't. The data that we brought in independently and put it together collectively, all the ways in which we market, all the channels, they saw that this was a much better opportunity for them. And also the money was there, right? Not just the initial, bag, if you will, but the ability for them to make long-term back-end dollars with us because we're going to sell more tickets. So that's what really brought us together out of the pandemic with the first tour, the Culture Tour. And then we went on with the Legacy Tour, and now the New Edition Way Tour, which was in planning for well over a year. Everybody saw the New Edition Way, street naming and all that. We were in planning then for that tour, for this tour. So the tour itself was amazing for them. They had a phenomenal experience. The content that came out of the tour just drove hundreds of millions of views. From a media perspective, I mean, we're billions of impressions for this tour, right? Sold out stadiums. The tour stayed in what's known as the Polestar Live 75. It stayed in the top 10 the entire tour. And we thought, the Culture Tour, could we outdo the Culture Tour? There was a lot of questions around that, but in essence, when Brooke put his mind to what this is going to look like from an integrated show, and we talked about it, and and he came to me specifically on Troy. Let's create this. Let's do this look. Let's do this feel. What are your thoughts on that? It was very collaborative. And I think that's the other thing that they find in us is like we're Brooke is the 7th member. We're like an 8th member to them because the collaboration for us is really, really tight.
Troy, I tell you one thing, right? My daughter, she's 39. You guys, I mean, I say all you guys, New Edition, and the way you promote this. I don't know if you guys realize this, man, but you with that show that you just did in Boston recently, you guys have actually went back and captured the generation before me and Steve's generation. Because my daughter, being 39, all her friends went to that show. Right. And she was born in 86, and they were already had left Boston by then.
Yep.
And it's amazing how you guys went back and captured another generation. I saw the whole thing from the street and also the show. I just saw the whole pulse that it had on the city. It was really amazing.
Well, going to the show, I'll say this. I mean, there were people there from all walks of life. There were people that I follow on social media. I didn't even know they were New Edition fans, and they were there at the show. So, so with all that being said, you had posted some numbers. Talk about some of those numbers in terms of them being, I think they were top 4 grossing or something to that extent.
Yeah, there were several buildings around the country where our tour was, the top 5 of all genres, number 1 in hip hop and R&B, right, in terms of the grosses in the building. So the tour just did it was phenomenal. To your point, it was about generations coming together. Anywhere from, I'm talking about 25-year-olds to 65 plus, right? Yes. We're all in the room, in the building, having a good time. And it was very relevant to them. Pre, during, and after, because if you saw all the videos after the show about my experience, my night at the tour, and it was just amazing. So, we're now ramping up for and planning for what phase 2 is going to look like in the fall. And I expect it to be just as big or bigger.
And that was one of my next questions. So that was the first leg. What's the second leg about?
Yeah, so there are many cities that wanted us to come back and do doubles, right? And the only one we had the good fortune to do that was in Atlanta because of the scheduling. We just couldn't get back to some other cities. So in the fall, we're going to come back and do some doubles, but we're also going to go to some markets that we didn't hit, right? Like the Northwest part of the country, Seattle, Portland, right? And we'll come back and do a double in LA, and then hit, probably 10, 15 other cities. So, and there may be a couple of doubles in there, but the other ones are going to be markets that we didn't get to hit on the first leg just because of scheduling and building avails. A lot of these arenas, you got to remember, have NHL hockey teams, they got NBA teams, and there's just a other bunch of scheduling that we have to try to work around.
Right. Now, I know before we talked, the first time we talked back in December, you talked about some of the obstacles with other companies and promoters, haters, and all that other stuff. With the success from not just this tour, but overall, has the respect level come in? Has anything changed, and have other doors open for you?
Well, that's a great question, Steve. I don't think it's a matter of a lack of respect, right? What it really is when they see us come together as one band and one sound, we are a threat. That is with anything that we do.
Right. True.
Right? So that's particularly what it is. And some of the things that I mentioned to you back in, I think it was in November, because I was talking to you as I was on the way to our Brandy and Monica show,
right,
at Barclays. But some of the things that I mentioned to you then have only intensified, and you see them now. Things that I alluded to, you're seeing them now in the press, and you're seeing the legal things and the government coming in and saying, "Yo, this is a monopoly. What are you guys doing?" You're hearing these folks saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to cheat these people. They're stupid." You're seeing voicemail messages come out like that from some of these big organizations. So it's only intensifying when we have success, and we're doing it, what we say, for us, by us, with us. So the obstacles are still absolutely being thrown in our way.
Wow.
Troy, do you think it's because we don't own, like, when I said us, as black folks in America, we don't actually own a media company that's so because they have control of the media companies. Do you think that's the problem?
So I'll say this: if you think we do have media companies that we own, however, they're shrinking. Right, the numbers aren't there. I mean, you look
Okay.
at right. Think look at Revolt. Look at Urban One, TV One, Radio One.
Yeah.
Those are black-owned companies, right? It's just a matter of the options that we have versus the options that from a general market perspective.
Right. We don't have enough.
Correct. And we're doing a lot of partnerships with black-owned media. Right. Again, Steve, I think you said it. We need to partner in a lot more ways together to affect change. And when we do that, we see it immediately. Right. So when you look at the Revolts, you look at the Urban Ones, like I said, TV One, I1 Digital, rolling out. There are outlets out there, but they're struggling because if the brand dollars, right, they operate based upon brand dollars. Mm-hmm. Well, brand dollars for us are shrinking, or the notion of DEI, as we all know, has gone away. Mm-hmm. So they're gatekeeping the dollars away from our black outlets.
Right. Were there any hiccups during the tour?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. God is good, right? So
I'm sorry. Before you answer that, was there an issue? I thought I heard there was an issue in Boston with the stage or something like that.
So there are, a couple of cities, there was issues with just the stages getting up, getting in buildings on time when you're traveling, getting the stage up. There are always potential issues, especially when there's a long run between the legs. Right. So there was an issue with the stage at the Garden. And, immediately, Brooke, we're going back and forth. And I'm like, Brooke, he's like, don't worry about it. We just won't use some of the lifts tonight. So, again, it's, the show must go on. And a lot of times people don't see it or are aware of it. But yeah, small things like that. Yes.
Okay.
Throughout the tour, though, I mean, thankfully, it was a blessing that this tour ran really, really smooth and succinctly. The only issue I would think we had was really like the last couple of weeks when Tony broke her arm. But her creative designer was so dope. She had the cast on, and then they augmented her outfits to cover her arm with like feathers and leather and frilly things. And a lot of people didn't realize until they were like, wait a minute, is her arm not moving? But Tony, you want to talk about a trooper and a queen. She got out there, did her show, did her steps with her cast and with the sling. Tony's a real rock star.
How did she break her arm? Was it during the show or anything?
She said she fell in the shower.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I won't go deeper into that,
but that could happen.
It could have happened, but it just sounds,
listen, you fall in that bathtub, man. People have killed themselves in bathtubs.
Yeah, listen, I'm gonna take her at her word.
Yeah, right. And we don't mean to laugh, Tony. Sorry.
Absolutely.
But wow, okay. Man, well, congratulations to you and the entire Black Promoter Collective. So I want to go off track just a little bit. So back, years ago, Stephen Hill did the New Edition story.
Yeah.
And, they even talked about back then that there were so many things they couldn't get into the story. And I'm just thinking, like, these guys are still making history.
Absolutely.
They're still writing history. And I think now would be a great time for them to maybe do another New Edition story, What are your thoughts about that? Or have you talked about it?
Yeah, so I know that they are all thinking along those lines, right? Because there's so much more to be told. Even just this latest touring component. These last 3 tours, man, have been the biggest tours of their careers, and not only just in the numbers and the ticket sales, but the way that they've affected culture, right, has been unbelievable. You see. Even after this tour, you see people copying the way that the tour is launched. Mm-hmm. You see now these integrated shows that are coming out with other artists, and they're touting, hey, it's going to be one show, all artists on the same stage. That's coming directly from this tour. Sean from Boyz II Men literally said it the first week from the stage. He said, what you're seeing tonight you will probably see again. It will be imitated by others.
No doubt.
Right? So yeah, there's a lot more there from a storytelling perspective around them and around their tree, right? I think that was the big thing that people got really excited about was this tour where you were seeing an extension of the New Edition family tree because they have never been on stage before with Boyz II Men. They had never been. Right. So, people were just like wowed by that. And then, obviously the moment with Mike coming out with them on the first song, right at the beginning of the show, just took it to another level. The excitement in the room just went all the way up.
Well, that's amazing because Mike was the one that discovered them, right?
That's correct.
Okay, wow, that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and Steve, you probably remember, man. I don't want to date either one of us,
right?
But when we were playing ball, actually before I went off to college, I remember Mike coming back to the Roxbury Y, telling us like, "Yo, I got these young boys from Philly. I just found these young boys from Philly, and these jokers can sing their behinds off."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember.
So he was telling everybody when he came home and when he found them, like, "Yo, wait till you hear these dudes."
Right.
So I remember that, and obviously now they become record-breaking artists themselves, incredible dudes, incredible husbands, incredible performers. But the way when they got together in a room, the way that they meshed, you were watching magic happen in real time.
Right. And the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they didn't get the vote of the panel. How are they feeling about that?
I think everybody is a little, it took a little wind out of people's sails, right? Especially with the way the fans reacted from the voting component. But one of the things I think they tried to say from the beginning is that the voting component only counts as one vote.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they also realize that there are others, who haven't gotten in on their first time. The folks that got voted in this year are on their third or fourth time.
Oh yeah,
so,
I did hear that.
Yeah. So, I think it's initially it's a little wind. It takes a little wind out of the sails because, to your point, there was so much momentum behind the tour and energy around voting, and the voting was integrated into the show. And again, the content that we were creating to create excitement for the fan base to vote, right? And then you get 1 million plus votes, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, wait a minute, what just happened? But those are the rules, and that's the game that we're playing. So,
and they did get the most votes as a numbers, right?
Correct. Yeah, they got 1 million plus votes. Yeah,
1 million plus votes. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, listen, man, we all know that it's going to happen for them. I mean, at the end of the day, it's written, right? It is written that they will be in the Hall of Fame.
Hey, listen, Troy. Bill Belichick didn't make the Hall of Fame, so I mean, think about it.
How about that? Listen, when I thought about them not getting in, he's the first guy I thought about. I'm like, man, what is this, man?
That's crazy. So that's a great point. That's a fabulous point. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, hey, man, I guess it's not that bad. We know Bill Belichick will get in probably next year. They just punish him, and we know the New Edition will get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I'm pretty sure they got some flack for that too, for not getting New Edition. And even Method Man came out and talking about it,
Yeah.
Listen, the blowback, I've never seen blowback like that. The other, in previous years, you've heard, folks ranting about why this one didn't get in or whatever, but it was very loud with New Edition.
Even Teddy Riley spoke on it. I saw clips of him speaking on it,
Yeah.
Well, and just not black artists, but white artists are saying, "Are you kidding me? Like they really are the beginning of they're the frame and format for the boy band era."
Yes.
Right? So it starts with them.
It starts with them in a
modern day boy band.
Right. A lot of groups came in after them, man. Even your NSYNCs,
Well, if you think about it, though, let's draw the line, though, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
NSYNC was built by Lou Pearlman, but the idea around that was Johnny Wright from Boston, who worked with Maurice.
And that's why I kind of brought it up. And they're all connected.
And there probably would have not been a not Boys to Men, New Kids on the Block without the New Edition.
Oh, no doubt, definitely.
Maurice has said that. Yeah, they were the Osmonds to the Jackson 5. That's what he was trying to do.
Donnie has said that.
Right.
Right. So, wow. I mean, just sitting back looking at their accomplishments, man. From day one, growing up in Orchard Park, becoming this group, New Edition, Candy Girl, hit record, young kids in Orchard Park, the projects, and all the way up to becoming grown men, and even at their ages now, still touring. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're working on another record. Why not? They don't have to, but why not?
Well, so it's interesting that you say that. The first song of the show is the new record. Going out tonight is the new record. It has them, Boyz II Men, and Tony on it. So, we were trying to work with them on getting it out. There were some things that got in the way of that, but literally that created a lot of excitement as well across social and media, and media outlets covering the show. When they come, they're like, wait a minute, that's a new song. Right. And it was a collaborative single that they worked on, and that's just the beginning. They are working on more stuff.
Wow. Well, we don't want to hold you up, but last question for you. And Rich, I don't know if you have another question, but what's next for you guys? I know you got the second leg of the New Edition tour. Any other tours in the making? And also, what do you think about the Chris Brown and Usher?
So look, I got love for both of them and for both of their camps. If you, again, like I said, if you saw the way they promoted and announced the tour, it's a carbon copy of what we did. Carbon copy of what the BPC did with Brandy and Monica, New Edition, and the Millennium Tour, Boys for Life. Like, if you watch all those videos and the way it was rolled out, and the announcements and the messaging and the storytelling, it's like Ice Cube jacking for beats.
Right. We're the creators, man.
So yeah, but looking, that tour is going to be massive. Great for R&B, huge for R&B. But again, I think it's what people saw was the collaboration. They're seeing how we're bringing collaboration together and packages together, right? We're making 1 + 1 = 3. We started that with Brandy and Monica, right? And then that rolled into the Queens. And then New Edition, now the Boys for Life tour, the Millennium Tour, which is the reunion to B2K, is out. That's out for another few weeks. Right. And then we've got the last and final leg of the Queens, because the Queens was so successful. Right. And I don't know, the normal consumer may not be familiar with Polestar, but Polestar is the Bible to the live entertainment industry, and it tracks, everything. It's, sales, all the things associated with tours. So, Brandy and Monica was nominated for a Polestar Award for Tour of the Year. The Queens was nominated for Tour of the Year. Last year's Millennium Tour was nominated for Tour of the Year. So, like I said, we're affecting change, and people are feeling it. And then, we got, in addition to the end of Boys for Life tour, we've got the reunion. The Floetry reunion is out right now, and that's selling out everything.
Nice.
So that's Floetry, Raheem Devon, and Teja Moses. And then we're prepping for a couple of other big festivals. We got Hot 97 Summer Jam coming up. LL Cool J's Rock the Bells in August is coming up. And then obviously their second leg and a couple of other things we're going to be dropping on people soon as well.
Right. Now, artists approaching you as well to put a package together?
Yeah, so yes, and not only for touring, but we've launched BPC Music Group. So the first single that we put out went number 1 on some charts, top 5 on the others. That was the Bow Wow Chris Brown record. And now we're getting ready to put out this crazy, as this tour is done, it's the B2K reunion album. And they got fire. I mean, they've got fire. So we're talking to artists now, not only about touring, but about, hey, what can we put together with you guys in BPC Music Group, and film and TV. There's some film and TV projects that are coming out. So we're trying to be the Black Disney at the end of the day.
Well, you guys doing an excellent job, man. Rich, I don't know if you got anything else.
No, I'm all done. Hey, man, always a pleasure, man, and keep up the good work.
Absolutely. Yes. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Congratulations, man. We got to do it again, man. And tell the fellas I said what up, and continued success, man. Congrats on everything.
Will do. I appreciate that.
You got it, man. Have a good one, man.
All right, peace.
That's Troy Brown from the Black Promoters Collective, and a lot of good information, man. I didn't know Tony broke around, man.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, Steve, you're laughing, man, but them bathtubs can be dangerous, man.
No, just imagine, man. You somewhere, you see a friend, man. What you do, man? Oh, I fell in the shower. You know, but no, I love Tony,
Yeah.
man. I remember meeting Tony before she even became Tony Braxton.
Yeah.
You know, wonderful person. And it was just a great tour. And like I said, man, so many different people from all walks of life was at the Garden. People that I followed that I didn't even know were New Edition fans from different cultures, man.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yep.
I mean, I'm glad because when we previously spoke to Troy, remember he was worried about the Garden and the big venue. You know, Garden holds about 15, 16,000.
Yeah.
And remember he said about getting a venue big enough and hopefully people will come and sell it out.
Right.
And I tell you, I didn't go to the show, but what I saw on social media, man, that place was packed, man.
Yeah. And even going
Did you go to the show, Steve?
Yeah, I went to the show. And I tell you, just pulling up to TD Garden, man, you know, in line, the people you know, going up the escalator, just the energy outside.
Yes, the
energy outside was crazy.
Yeah,
man,
the energy
going into
was
the
crazy.
show.
Yes,
it was, man.
And actually, from what I was told, man, the New Edition concert actually crossed a lot of like ethnic lines at that night.
Yeah,
you had people from all ethnic backgrounds there that night. Man.
That's what I'm saying, man. I think, you know, they're just on a whole nother level right now, and man, the blessings. Oh my goodness.
It seemed like there's been a rejuvenation because Steve, if you remember, for a few years, they had kind of, you know, was a little silent in the music industry. And, you know,
well, they went through some things.
Most definitely. Yeah.
A lot of different things, which is why I asked them about them doing another New Edition story.
Yeah.
Because they got so much more that they could tell, that they could talk about, even from the time when they finished that story. A lot has happened.
Well, the energy that they're creating right now with this, I call it a resurrection, because basically for a group at their age, you know, mid to late 50s, for them to come back and create this much energy, you don't see groups do that. Usually everybody goes their separate ways.
Yeah, right. Right.
You don't see too many groups, you know, after being together 40 years, come back this late in their careers as a group and create the energy.
And no one has really done what they've done. Again, you got New Edition, Ralph went solo, you got BBD,
Johnny Gill,
you got Johnny Gill, and you got Bobby Brown.
Yeah, everybody had their own like platinum,
and they all
albums.
went platinum.
Yes.
They went platinum to multi-platinum, and you know, highly impacted the industry in radio throughout the country, the entire world, pretty much.
Yes, like they came full circle if you think about it.
And people talk about the Beatles and what they did, but I don't know. And we're really just talking about our culture. The Beatles is just something totally different anyways. I wouldn't compare them to the Beatles.
Yeah.
But they are a group. They are an R&B, a group in their own lane.
Oh, most definitely. And the Beatles was from a generation when they came from London. They came over here. They kind of like shocked the whole American, you know, rock and roll scene and everything, you know, in the 60s. So they kind of caught that era where who's this group coming from overseas? Because before that, everything was rock and roll USA, you know?
Right. And even for us to be having them in the same breath with the Beatles, it's crazy.
Most definitely,
you know? And then you look at the Jackson 5, right? Michael was the biggest thing ever.
Yes.
You know, Jermaine went solo. He did all right. Tito, he tried. Janet did great, but she wasn't in the Jackson 5. She wasn't in
the group. And the older sister, Reedy, she had a big time album out.
Right. Randy, I don't know if it was big time, but yeah.
Randy. Well, yeah, Janet and LaToya did albums.
Right.
But like you said, as a collective group, everybody in the New Edition went off and made like platinum albums, and then they come back together as a group.
Right.
And to recapture that energy, that's amazing.
Yeah, Michael Jackson would be proud. I tell you, man, and we definitely proud here in Boston, man. Shout out to my boys, man. New Edition, Orchard Park, all the way. 25 Adams Street, man. Yes, indeed, man. All right. I mean, we can go on with that, but we got to talk about the Celtics. We got the Celtics and the Sixers tonight. I watched that game on Sunday before I came here and did the show here at the station, and it was a blowout. It was just a pure blowout, so I didn't miss, you know, and usually I won't get up from the game, man. But it was a great win for him. And what's my guy's name on the Sixers? The guard?
Tyrese Maxey.
Tyrese Maxey. He came out and said that Paul George came up to him and said something to the extent that they were playing the game as if it was just a regular game, and they had all the intensity or something to that extent about it. For them, it wasn't even a playoff game.
Well, one of the things I'm watching this Celtics team, and I'm going to keep a close watch on them, Steve.
Yep.
They won the championship the previous year. Last year, they came back. They won the first round against Orlando, but Orlando was very physical. They beat us up for 6 games. I thought it took its toll on us.
Right.
Also, the fact that Drew Holiday, Jason Tatum, Derek White went to the Olympics after we won the championship.
Right.
I would prefer that they didn't go in the Olympics. Jason Tatum had already won a gold medal. So did Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
I wish they would have rested that summer, because they played basketball the whole season, playoffs, Olympics, then you come back to defend your title. I still believe to this day Jason Tatum's injury was a result of too much basketball. Drew Holiday was banged up the whole season, being 34 years old. He actually had a great season for Portland this year. He was somewhere around 16 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists a game. They're in the playoffs right now.
How did Horford do in Golden State?
Al Horford played well. I mean, Al Horford's still just a role player. He actually saved Golden State in the play-in game. He came and hit 4 3-pointers in the fourth quarter. I mean, Golden State's out of the playoffs now, but in the first playing game, they actually upset the Phoenix Suns. Mm-hmm. But the whole Celtic team last year, after winning the championship, they didn't rest. And one thing Larry Bird and Kevin McHale, those guys always sit in the 80s, Steve, going into the playoffs deep in the June every year, mm-hmm. It takes about 4 to 5 years off your career, because you're playing an extra. If you go every year for 7-8 years, you're playing extra seasons when you add it up. And this time, Steve, I'm looking at this team. It's a different team. We still got our core, mm-hmm. But what's happening right now, all the young players. And Steve, if you watch that game against Philly the other day, they didn't take their foot off the pedal on this game.
They didn't.
And hopefully, I think they learned from last year, because you remember, Steve, we blew a couple of 20-point lead in the first 2 games against the Knicks last year.
Right, we did.
And we should have been up 2-0 going to New York last year. So let's be honest. I think there was a learning experience.
Right. No, it definitely was. Yep. So they play tonight. Someone actually mentioned and said that they have a history of losing game 2. So I'm sure they heard that.
I think this team's coming with a lot more intensity, the defense and everything. Oh, and by the way, the New York Knicks blew a game last night. They lost a 12-point lead in the fourth quarter to the Atlanta Hawks.
Oh, okay.
So that's always good news when you see Spike Lee and all the guys on the sidelines leave the Madison Square Garden early, with their heads down, you know?
Yeah.
So they lost a 1-point game last night to the Atlanta Hawks. So right now, people in New York, they're in a little panic mode right now, you know?
Yeah. And I will say with the Celtics, man, you know, I'm not saying that they're a better team. Actually, yeah, they are a better team than they were last year, for the simple fact last year they were so injured.
They were injured. They had a couple of older pieces. Al Horford, Drew Holiday was 34 years old, and he had played a lot of basketball, but he seems to have rejuvenated himself. You got to remember, Steve, Kristaps Porzingis was also injured. He had long COVID, had symptoms. He couldn't get his breathing in order. Late last year in the season, he had some issues and he never recovered. So, and you know what? All these guys that's contributing this year, they were there last year, but Joe Mazzola didn't trust them. And coming into this season, he had no choice. Jaylen Brown proved that he's not just like a regular NBA player. He proved that he's a top 10 NBA player this year. He's all NBA first team, of course. But
Shireman coming off the bench.
Yes.
You know, with that, they got the expansion draft coming up. I don't know when it comes up, but I'm protecting Shireman.
Oh, most definitely.
I'm protecting him.
Hey, Steve, I want to remind you of a conversation we had before the season started. Remember, people was talking about tanking?
Yeah, I was
and
one
getting
of them.
A lot.
I was one of them. I was one of them, man, because, you know, I felt like, you know, if you look at the draft, man, there's so many good players in the draft that's going to come up this year, man. That's why I said it.
But the thing is, Steve, what people are forgetting, the Celtics have an excellent developmental thing going with the main team.
Yeah.
All these guys they drafted, they sent up the main, let them play. They didn't keep them on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
The whole bench is a bunch of guys that came from the G League after they drafted them. They made sure they're playing basketball. They're being developed in the system.
Even Gonzalez is a dog.
Yes, Steve, I can't believe that.
And they developed Cater well.
Oh my God, that's a blessing. When you take a 7-footer that was drafted by the Sacramento Kings, I believe, and they didn't see the potential. Well, we know what it is, Steve. A lot of NBA teams don't want to wait around for guys and develop them.
Yeah, they're not into that.
But Brad Stevens have seen this is the way you keep your team going.
Right.
Because let's be honest, Steve, you got 2 super max players. The way the NBA salary cap is structured, you don't want to pay those luxury taxes if you don't have to. So you have to develop guys at a lower salary that's giving you a high input. And you're going to have your core group of players that's making a big money.
Right. Right. Yeah. So I think they do an excellent job. Brad Stevens is a genius. You know, people said Danny Ainge was the guy. Danny is cool, but he probably got a lot from Brad Stevens.
Well, what Danny did, Danny set us up with Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart. When we traded Garnett and Paul Pierce to the Brooklyn Nets, we got first-round draft picks. That turned into Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, a couple of other draft picks on the roster. So, I mean, that's the thing. You know, we're basically watching our draft picks that we got from Brooklyn play right now in Tatum and Brown.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So Celtics tonight, I believe it's a 7:00 game or 8:00 game.
Yeah, 7:00. And we also got a playoff game here it's not in Boston. The Bruins play tonight. They kind of blew a playoff game the other night. They were up 2-0. Third period, 8 minutes to go. It was a total collapse. But they're in the playoffs. So both of our winter sports teams are in the playoffs right now. I mean, they must love that down on Causeway Street because that's big business for the TV Garden and all the restaurants and business.
Restaurants in that area,
right? So yeah, shout out. The Boston's sports scene is doing well right now. And we got the NFL draft coming up Thursday, Steve.
Right. And so Yahoo Sports reported yesterday morning that A.J. Brown, and we talked about this before, and this what was going around anyways, after June 1st, which is the beginning of the league season, A.J. Brown will be traded to the New England Patriots. And so he's going to be teamed up with Drake May.
Well, yeah, that's been the talk and seemed like it's kind of in the works now. What happens after June 1st, the cap hit that the Philadelphia Eagles will take is a lot less. So that's why they're waiting to June 1st.
Yeah.
Actually, Steve,
I think it'll go over 2 years or something like that.
Yeah, this is a great trade if the Patriots can get A.J. Brown, because the Buffalo Bills went out and got DJ Moore from the Chicago Bears, who's definitely an elite receiver. We're going to add A.J. Brown with Romeo Doubs and our young receiving corps. I mean, honestly, Steve, when you have a young quarterback like Drake May,
right,
you have to surround him with weapons. Because the thing is,
let me say this.
Yeah,
that is true. But the number one thing they need to do is sew up that left side of the offensive line, which was a problem during the entire playoffs.
Well, hopefully
that was the weakness of the team.
Hopefully, our number one pick, our first round pick, Will Campbell, hopefully that injury that he had, the high ankle sprain, affected him. Because during the season, he played pretty well. Drake May didn't really have a lot of pressure on him. Coming into the playoffs, he had an injury. Hopefully that was the problem. But like you said, the offensive line definitely was a problem. We got exposed in the Super Bowl by a great defense, of course.
And I'm still stuck on why didn't they fix that? You knew what the problem was. If you have a problem, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to fix it.
Well, Steve, if you think about it, I was surprised in the Super Bowl for one reason. You take the Houston Texans, the Denver Broncos. Those were the two teams we played in the AFC, right?
Right.
Steve, we went against the top 3 defenses in football. 3 of the 4 top. Oh, wait a minute. Houston Texans.
San Diego, not San Diego, but the
LA Chargers.
Yep.
Steve, we actually went against 4 of the top 5 defenses in football. And we were able to win those games against the Texans, the Chargers, and the Denver Broncos. And they were tough defensive battles.
Mhm.
And I mean, let's be honest. As much as we talk about Drake May, our defense actually took us to the Super Bowl, Steve.
No, it did.
Drake
doubt.
May didn't really play great. He made enough plays to get us there.
Listen, I'm gonna say this again. It wasn't that he didn't. He had that left side. He had no, especially
Yes.
throughout the duration of the playoffs.
Yeah.
He didn't have time to throw the ball. He couldn't make his reads because he was getting beat up.
Yeah, he made a couple of great throws.
Will Campbell was, in my opinion, disrupted the entire offense.
Yes, he did, because that left side was being pressured so bad.
But why didn't they make the change? Why didn't they change what was going on over there? That's
because honestly, you made a point to me. We were talking. The guy that filled in for him played great those last 4 regular season games. Why in the Super Bowl?
Why not yank him and just put him in
at halftime? Maybe, I don't know if you didn't want to hurt his confidence, but it's the Super Bowl. At that point, you really don't care about anyone's confidence.
You care about winning the game.
But going forward, Steve, if we can acquire A.J. Brown, that's great, because that means we matched Buffalo in the offseason by them getting DJ Moore. We one up them by getting A.J. Brown, and that's a great move. That means that Bob Kraft, Mike Vrabel, the Patriots organization, they're trying to stay relevant and in the hunt for a championship.
Right.
And one more thing, Steve, what people don't realize, you want to win a Super Bowl as soon as you can with a young quarterback, because once he's off of that rookie contract, you're going to have to pay Drake May $350 million, $400 million.
And they will.
And that's going to tie up a good part of your salary cap, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got to get real, like, innovative on your roster building, because now you got to be creative. You got to draft well. I mean, let's be honest. Tom Brady always took hometown discounts.
Right.
So we were able to bring in players.
Mm-hmm.
These new quarterbacks like Drake May, these guys are not taking hometown discounts, Steve.
Right.
You know, their agent are maximizing their salary. They're looking at how the salaries keep going up.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be nice to get a Super Bowl before we have to pay Drake May.
Before all hell breaks loose.
Yeah. Oh, don't forget about the cornerback Gonzalez.
Yeah, you got.
He's gonna break the bank. I mean, I wish we would have locked him up last year, but right now there's a couple of cornerbacks just set the market. And I mean, I know his agent's just sitting back licking his chops right now, Steve.
Right, no doubt.
So the draft is Thursday. I would like to see the New England Patriots
beef up that line.
Beef up the offensive line.
And get a pass rusher.
And maybe grab one of these athletic tight ends, because Hunter Henry is good, but we need an athletic tight end that can just go out there and
another Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah, maybe there's a athletic guy out there that we can grab on the 3rd or 4th round, a guy that can go out there and just win the battle with the tight end battle. You know, Hunter Henry's good, but he just doesn't win the battles.
Right. All right. What's going on with this war in Iran, man, and your boy Donald Trump?
Well,
Steve, you talked to him lately?
I was actually on the phone with him this morning, man. Hey, listen, let me tell you, Steve, this is the biggest. It's actually a joke, because the narrative changes every day. Right now, the ceasefire is up till tomorrow. They're sending people over there today. His son-in-law, this other guy, Wyckoff, the vice president. I tell you, Steve, Iran's, man, they kind of dug their feet in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
And that little thing over there, what they call it, the Hormuz Strait.
Yeah.
Steve, I'm telling you, I got to be honest. I didn't know what the hell that was until this war started. I don't think most people know it was,
right.
You know. That thing controls 20% of the oil in the world that comes through there.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking millions of gallons of oil per day.
Mm-hmm.
They said if this thing doesn't get settled in the next couple of weeks, there's not going to be any jet fuel for the airplanes in Europe. So people won't be able to even fly planes back and forth to Europe. So you think about the impact has happened economically on everything.
Right.
I mean, you see the gas prices, what we're paying at the pump, the grocery prices. I don't know, man. There's a lot of people have a lot of opinions on this war, man. Some people don't think it was necessary. They think this could have been settled. I tell you, Steve, I don't think
Well, everything's connected, and I think what's really happening is like change is coming in this world, man.
Yeah.
Again, we talk about it all the time with everything in technology that's changing. I believe the financial system is about to be reset. I'll say it again. The financial system is about to be reset. That's going to happen. That is going to happen. And I just think everything is connected, man, from the oil, from the takeover in Venezuela, the minerals there, and metals, all that stuff, man, is connected. And with everything that's going on with AI, all the new AI hubs that are being produced throughout the country, and I believe there's something happening here in Massachusetts. I could be wrong. If not, there's one coming. I promise you that. Those hubs got to run off of a lot of energy, and things have changed. How they plan on doing it, I don't know. But energy is going to be so important. And you might have been hearing rumors about water shortages all of a sudden.
Well, Steve, like you're talking about those AI hubs.
Yeah.
The stuff that I follow, a lot of communities out like in Texas and these states, they don't want them to build the AI hubs because they said
one's already being built in Texas.
The AI hubs, well, people were protesting against it.
Yeah.
Because they said it will take up about 30% of their energy.
Right.
And that's a lot. When you're talking about just one hub, it takes a lot of energy to run an AI hub.
Well, there's a law. Well, I won't say there's a law, but builders here in Massachusetts, when it comes to building these property, they're not putting gas stoves in them anymore.
Okay.
The stoves are electric stoves now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. A lot of things. Listen. Just start paying attention to what's going on. Lives are going to change. You're going to have to make adjustments. And, we're in 2026 now. Things will be totally different, in my opinion, by 2028.
Most definitely.
And you're going to start seeing some changes even now, with the Clarity Act, which I talk about a lot when it comes to crypto. That will pass sometime soon. I don't know when. I don't have a date when it's going to happen. But the holdup with it is that the banks don't like the language in the Clarity Act. They don't like the language in there, which pretty much go against what they've been doing with the financial system now, which is we put our money in their banks and they do whatever they want with our money and they make billions of dollars. So with the Clarity Act right now, which is why, listen, I love crypto. And I think everybody should learn about it because one of the reasons why the banks are against it is because they don't like the language in there, which will allow people that own cryptocurrency to actually do what the banks actually do. You're actually your own bank. You'll be able to leverage your cryptocurrency. You'll be able to do you won't have to succumb to what you're succumbing to now when it comes to putting your money in the bank. Okay, you get a checking account, you charge whatever dollars a month, late fees. You don't have to deal. The banks make so much money off of our money in the bank. And for those who don't know, you put your money in the bank, they lend it out, and they charge interest on that money. What do they give you back?
Barely nothing.
Couple of pennies maybe by the end of the year. Maybe $5. Give them $5.
Yeah.
And we accept that.
Exactly.
We accept that. So crypto is a totally different ballgame. And they don't like the language they want in there is the same language that they have in the current system. And that's been the holdup with the Clarity Act. They don't pretty much, if you own crypto, they don't want us to make money.
Most definitely.
Yep. So
yeah, you're definitely right, Steve, how everything's tied in. Because even with this war going on, it's also affecting the grain. So you see the farmers, they've been on TV talking about how they are taking a hit now. They can't get the grain that also comes from over there, from overseas. So, Steve, what does that do? That drives the price of beef and other products up.
Right.
I mean, cows produce milk. cows get fed grain. Steve, this thing is affecting the whole market. And one thing that I've just learned about a couple of weeks ago, I've heard a lot of financial guys talking about. Are you familiar with this thing called a petrodollar, Steve?
Yep.
It's tied to oil.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're saying about crypto, Steve, they're trying to push basically us into a digital money system.
And they're not trying. It's happening right
now. Before our eyes. And they're basically trying to make the paper dollar irrelevant, like it's losing value.
And it's lost a lot of value already.
And
the dollar is not worth much.
I think what's happening is people that have money in this country understands this whole financial system. Most people on the lower level in life is going to be caught off guard when they do flip over to this digital money system.
Yeah. A lot of people.
I mean, the dollar will always be there, but like you said, this thing is all kind of a calculated thing that's going on.
Yeah.
If you look at the whole thing, I used to didn't pay attention much to this stuff, but as you get older, you could see how the dots are just moving around.
Yeah.
And all the pieces are moving. Financially, it's affecting everything. And it's just a big game. It's a chess game at the end of the day.
Right now, there are cryptocurrencies that are worth way more than the dollar right now. I mean, look at one Bitcoin right now, even though that market's down. You're talking $70-something thousand for one Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you purchased it back when it was a couple of pennies or $2, you're living the high life right now.
You wouldn't have to worry about no money the rest of your life.
And a lot of people are. And I remember back when, I forget which Kennedy it was, but they gave their grandchildren one Bitcoin for their birthday or something like that. And I just look at what they do, and I try and pay attention what's going on. And again, I don't believe any and everything I hear and read. You got to kind of put it together. Use your head. But and we were talking about the Karen Reed thing earlier, and we'll transition into that because y'all remember the Karen Reed case, and there's a lot going on with that. The Albert family and all those tied in, they're trying to sue Karen right now.
Yeah, they're filing like civil suits against her.
Yeah.
I mean, because they know eventually she's gonna make a movie. She already signed off the movie rights, the book rights, all that stuff. I mean, she did sell a house.
I don't think that's why they're suing her though.
I think, that's true, Stephen. The civil suit. Like we discussed earlier off the air, they're probably trying to keep their name intact and not look like they were involved in the whole situation.
Right. That's why they're doing it.
Yeah.
They got to do. You got to play as if you were innocent.
Yeah.
And if you're innocent, if you didn't do it, why aren't you suing them?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Most definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was one of the craziest cases ever. I mean, when you sat back and watched it, I'm like, come on now.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're on a jury, how can you even convict her after you saw all the evidence?
I remember, I watched a lot of the trial, and just watching it, if you really thought, again, the media can shape you and manipulate you to believe what they want you to believe and what they want you to see. They can say it in certain ways and angle it. Most of the media went with the narrative that Karen Reed did it. That was a majority of the media. If you look at some of the reports, that was the narrative, that she did it, right? But when she was found guilty, now a lot of the media are now reporting a lot of the things that go against what the Alberts and the Canton police were saying.
Yeah.
So now they're switching it back up because they know a majority of the public who followed the trial, they know based on the evidence and based on a lot of factual things that were said, they know she didn't do it. You know,
for me, Steve, I'm no law expert, but I've never seen a case where there was so much incompetence from the police perspective, collecting evidence in Dunkin' Donut cups, Stop and Shop bags. You have the car, her SUV with the collecting the evidence.
Right.
it was just so much incompetence from
And
the
then-
police perspective.
And what about a lot of the evidence that wasn't even allowed to be submitted by the judge, who also was in bed with the Alberts? I mean, she has a property on the Cape that she used to rent out to one of them. Can't remember who it was. That was a conflict of interest right there.
I was really surprised the judge was allowed to do the retrial.
Listen,
I was like, why wouldn't they take her off of this? I mean, if you listen to the judge on TV,
I was not born yesterday.
She was so she was so biased
right
against Cameron Reed and the defense team. I'm like, why would y'all bring her back for a second tour?
Right.
You know,
she was so biased. And, you know, like I said, I was not born yesterday. I know a lot. Some people were, you know, mentally, but, you know, 1 + 1 will always equal 2. You know, you can't change that. You know, you can't change what the evidence says. And there was a video that wasn't allowed that showed Cameron Reed's video traveling at a certain time, and the taillight wasn't cracked. It wasn't broken. It showed that it was not broken right when they said it was broken. So so it had to happen when the police confiscated the truck.
The thing that convinced me that she didn't do it, Steve, when the snow plow came by and there was no body out there.
Right.
The snow plow convinced me. And also when someone's
what happened to the dog, you know?
What happened to the dog?
What happened to Lucky or whatever his name was?
And the forensic experts said those bites on his arm was dog bites. Also, the fact that who's Googling how long does it take before a body freezes to death?
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Now, typically, in other cases, if a accuser was had did that evidence is being allowed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But coming from who it came from, they were going to do everything to cover it up, which they did, man. So
the whole case was just they tried to put the pieces in place, it looks like, from the fact that she ran him over. It's a snowstorm.
Yep.
You know, and it showed that her car couldn't have got up to the speed to even kill him, Steve.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, because matter of fact, cars don't, and I didn't know this, I just saw this a few days ago. You can't drive, I think, more than 30 or 35 miles per hour going in reverse. Any car.
Not only that, Steve, what about when they did the test with the crash dummy?
I thought that was funny. I laughed, man. That was comedy to me, man.
And why would you had the car positioned on the opposite side at the police station to take the camera? There was so much shady things that went on.
Right.
You know, it was just it seemed like the whole trial, on the second trial, when I really looked into it, I'm like, this is so obvious that everything was lined up to try to make her blame the Cameron Reed.
Yeah.
You know, that was amazing though, man. But there's gonna be more stuff coming out. She's gonna, you know, the movie's gonna come out. She's gonna recoup a lot of her, you know, monetary finances from there that she lost. You know, and hopefully, man, you know.
In the crazier thing that has happened as well, so many police officers in Canton and the state troopers have either lost their job or have retired.
Yes, exactly.
You know, and that's strange.
Yeah,
you know,
well,
they were all involved in the case.
Well, there was a big shakeup at the Canton Police Department, from what I read. So yeah, I think what happens, I'm really surprised the feds haven't come in and investigated them.
No, the feds have been involved.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they've been involved. Yeah,
which they should. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
Right. So I don't know, man. I don't know what else we got to wrap up out here. Well, what did we forget? Anything?
Well, Steve, once again, playoff time. Boston Celtics playoffs, best time of the year, man.
Yeah.
You know, best time of the year when the Celtics are in the playoffs and football season starting, man.
Yeah.
You know.
All right. So, hey, man, I guess that's a wrap for today. R&B Vibes is on, y'all. While you're at work, listen to some of this great music we have here on the Urban Heat, on iHeartRadio, And if you get a chance, I want you to log into YouTube and subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right, R&B Talk / Gooseby, Gousby. All right, and if you need a house, hey, I got a few of them on the market right now. I got some off-market things. Hit me up 617-590-2368. I'll get you in a home today. I got a beautiful townhouse in Lakeville. Got a nice condo in Brockton, and a large single family in Taunton, by the way, and a nice 3-family about to come on the market pretty soon. So if you're looking to purchase something, hit me up. All right, y'all. Enjoy this music. Urban Heat, R&B Vibes on iHeartRadio.
I'm like, oh yeah, you go, girl. I'm in my go, yeah, you go, girl. I'm in my go, yeah, you go, girl.
Good skin